Welcome back to Lytudiep channel. What will poor girl Diep do to overcome the pain she has experienced? Will she continue to hold James' hand to continue writing her journey? Let's watch together today. Diep was a young woman who had known abandonment from an early age. Left behind by her parents. She grew up without the warmth of a family or the comfort of stability. Yet, instead of letting pain define her, she chose to fight back. In a quiet rural village, surrounded by fields and the scent of sawdust, Diep began to rewrite her life, step by step. Not with resentment, but with determination, gratitude, and a fierce desire to live meaningfully. Her journey intertwined with that of James, a composed and thoughtful man, who, more than just a company CEO, became a guiding light in her darkest days. He offered her a job. But more than that, he offered her a place to belong. Together, they worked on a construction site, helping build what would soon become someone's home. But symbolically, also building a future, Diep's future. Every day at the site was a rhythm of saws, hammers, and voices calling out instructions. Wood was measured and cut with care. Just like James and Diep were carefully shaping their second chance at life. James spoke with the workers, ensuring everything aligned with the design plans. The next step would be to erect the columns, a key phase in laying the foundation of the house. To Diep, this wasn't just construction, it was the promise of something she had never truly had, a home. James, though reserved in emotion, expressed care through quiet actions. He worried about Diep's health, knowing she had only recently recovered. He reminded her to rest, not to overwork herself. But Diep, having lived through days of emptiness, found meaning in working. Being idle only brought loneliness. She insisted that she knew her limits now. If she ever felt weak, she would stop. James gifted her some simple jewelry. She hesitated, feeling unworthy. But James reassured her that the pieces suited her, and more importantly, that she deserved them. As legal matters concerning the land were finalized, James meticulously prepared for payment. He arranged meetings, ensured the paperwork was in order, and promised to complete the remaining transaction. The contracts were handwritten, bearing the village chief's seal, a reflection of the simple, honest way people did business in the countryside. James didn't mind. He respected their ways, even as he came from a different world. James also helped a local friend with an upcoming pomelo harvest. They discussed export standards and care techniques, how potassium improved sweetness, how smooth, uniform skins were essential. For James, quality mattered, whether in fruit, in houses, or in people. He lived by it, and he quietly encouraged those around him to do the same. One hot afternoon, while James was overseeing the unloading of timber at a new site, Diep called but got no answer. Instead of waiting, she bought drinks and fruit and made her way to the construction site. Her arrival surprised everyone, but lifted their spirits. She shared refreshments, peeled fruit, and smiled despite the heat. Her presence was more than helpful, it was helpful. Lynn, the site supervisor, reported that only half the necessary timber had arrived. More materials were needed, cement, bricks, sand. Diep suggested a practical solution, pouring concrete the same way she and James had done with a small hut they'd built before. It was sturdy and economical. She was no longer just a bystander. She was contributing, thinking, deciding, becoming a partner in building not just a house, but a vision. Later that evening, a worker's motorbike broke down. The throttle cable had snapped. Instead of complaints, everyone helped, showing how far this group had come as a team. James planned to treat the workers to a drink, though a meeting pulled him away. Still, he trusted Lynn to lead. The team had become something of a family, reliable, dedicated, and united. Diep shared that she had spent the day harvesting longan fruit and selling them cheaply to a shop. She didn't want to be a street vendor anymore. That quiet confession revealed how hard she was trying to live with dignity. As they rode home together on a winding, bumpy road, James told her to hold on tight. It was a simple sentence, but from him, it carried a world of meaning, protection, care, maybe even love. The house was still under construction. Their lives were still unfinished. But something had changed. Diep was no longer a girl abandoned by fate. She was a woman standing on her own feet, with a job, a community, and someone who believed in her. And while the saws continued to cut, and the bricks slowly stacked up, what was being built was more than a house. It was a life, woven with resilience, kindness, and the quiet but powerful hope that we all deserve a place to call home.